And when I woke up, it was as if he was still there in the room. I couldn't see him or anything, but I could feel it. It felt like when I was a little girl and I'd go into his bathroom after he'd shaved. You know, you could smell the cologne and the soap. I even got out of bed and started looking around. I really wanted to find him.
What for?
I don't know.
Think about it. What did you want him to do if you found him?
I don't know. I guess I wanted him to tell me I was going to be all right. I think I wanted him to hold me. Listen, maybe I wasn't dreaming. You know, maybe it was a ghost.
Do you dream about him often?
Oh, not very much. I think about him a lot, though. Wondered what he'd say now that I'm divorced.
What would he say?
I don't know. We never talked about unpleasant things in our house. He'd be disappointed. He loved Patrick. Sometimes I think more than me. When my dad had his first heart attack, I was the first one to get to the hospital, and I ran into his room, and as soon as I saw him, I started to cry. All of a sudden, he looked so old. Anyway, he opened his eyes, and he wanted to know where Patrick was. But I was the only one there. And he looked at me, and he said, I never thought that you would be here for me at this time in my life. I said, but Daddy, you were always my best beau. Of course I'd be here. Didn't you know how much I loved him?
Living in time and feeling every moment. Do I walk into tomorrow and never look behind? In a perfect world, everyone's dreams would all come true. What will the future hold? I wonder, what will the future hold? How will it all unfold? I wish I knew. Ooh, I wish I knew.
When I asked if he and the victim were lovers, he told me it was none of my business. It's easy enough to find out. It's just that if he's not going to talk to me, he sure as hell isn't going to talk to a jury.
Is there any kind of mental health line here? Drugs, alcohol?
Again, none of my business. The only thing he'd volunteer is a confession. He has no problem saying he premeditated this. He planned it. He carried it through.
Well, Rosie, maybe that's all there is to it. He took pity on a fellow traveler.
Well, then I'm shafted. There are a lot of terminally ill people in the world. A 5-year-old could prove you can't play God and go around offing invalids.
Yeah, well, I can hardly disagree with that.
All I can do is plead euthanasia. And then I'm still stuck appealing to the jury's sympathies without a particularly sympathetic client.
Or a particularly sympathetic issue as far as the public is concerned.
AIDS used to be front-page news. Now you can't even find it in the paper. Thanks for listening.
You bet.
The orderly said you were waiting in the hospital room when he brought the victim back from his treatment.
What difference does it make?
Makes a great deal of difference. You're being charged with premeditated murder.
I know what I'm being charged with.
Under California law, there are 19 definitions for what are called special circumstances that enable the DA to ask for the death penalty. One of them is referred to as lying in wait.
Fine. I was lying in wait, okay?
I waited for half an hour until the orderly brought him back from his treatment.
Did the victim ask you to shoot him?
The victim's name was Ken. No, he didn't ask me to shoot him.
So what you're saying is that you took it upon yourself to decide to end his life?
You ever seen anyone die of AIDS?
No.
It isn't just one disease. It can be a dozen or more.
Cancer, pneumonia, brain lesions, blindness, dementia. Host infections all over the body, clogging the throat, oozing out of the ears.
Mr. Gordon, this is not what I need to know.
You mean that's not what you want to hear?
I mean, unless it's relevant to your case.
Have you ever known anyone with AIDS?
Not personally, no.
Well, now you do.
Hey, I don't know what the hell you want with life insurance, man. I mean, you were born with life insurance.
Just because I have a job waiting for me?
You have a partnership waiting for you.
It is not that easy living up to someone like my father, you know?
Okay, look. Get term insurance, cheapest kind, invest the rest in bonds.
You have bonds? What kind of bonds?
Me? I ain't got no money for bonds.
See, that's the point. That's what whole means. It's forced savings. 20 years from now, I collect all the money I socked away in this policy.
Isn't the point of life insurance to protect those left behind?
Only in the event of my death.
Without your intervention, these
Hey, well,
animals are
if you need a beneficiary, I can volunteer.
Without your intervention, these animals are at risk.
Forget it. I don't have time to stop at the cleaner.
Rosie, help save these kittens. Take a step. Care.
Isn't this your cat?
I don't know how she got out. I'm having her spayed, don't worry.
I won't.
Thanks for taking time out of your busy day.
You said it was a matter of life and death, Mother.
I did?
Yes, you did.
Well, I guess it is. I sold some stock. The Rauschenberg and the de Kooning are new, so I...
Am I missing something?
My will is outdated.
Oh, right, your will. Thank you. I forgot it was that time.
What time?
The anniversary of Daddy's death. Every time it comes around, you change your will.
I do not.
Yes, you do. It's the 5th anniversary. Maybe we should do something.
Like what?
I don't know. Like put flowers on his grave or something.
He doesn't have a grave.
Well, he does too have a grave. The fact that happens to be the entire Pacific Ocean doesn't mean we could...
I will never forgive him for that.
Oh, Mother, I think being cremated and scattering your ashes out to sea is... I don't know, I thought it showed a surprised side of him.
I don't like surprises. Now, he knew that. Anyway, anniversary is an odd word for it. I mean, it makes it sound like it should be a celebration.
Why not? A celebration of his life.
For me, it's just a reminder that his life is over.
Tell me again how you and Daddy met.
Oh, come on. You've heard that a dozen times.
Tell me again.
This has got something to do with your therapy, right?
Wait a minute.
No.
Is your father alive?
No?
Your mother?
Rosie, look, let me tell you about my mother. If I take time to answer your question and I blow my client's defense this afternoon, my mother will find out somehow and kick my butt all the way across the county.
Hi, sis, it's Dory. I know you hate this, but Todd met a really nice guy.
Yeah, right. But does he have any hair?
He's an internist, he's attractive. And yes, Rosie, he has hair. Call me. Bye.
Rosie, it's Ben. Listen, your client, David Gordon, is at County Hospital. He tried to hang himself, so you might want to get over there.
It's hospital rules. They made me wear this stuff in order to see you.
They make you sign your life away, too?
Pretty much.
Yeah. I've had to do it 100 times.
Why do I think you're not exaggerating? You've lost a lot of friends, haven't you? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Look, I don't mean to sound like a Pollyanna, but they're making new discoveries every day. They might find something that could save you.
That's not why I tried to kill myself.
Then why?
Look, I know you're trying to be nice, but my reasons are personal.
I'm not trying to be nice. I am trying to provide you with defense. You're not helping me by admitting that you planned a murder.
But we did plan it.
We? I thought you said that Ken didn't ask you to kill him.
He didn't. It was just something that we agreed to in the abstract a long time ago.
David, that makes an enormous difference. If I can demonstrate that this was a mercy killing, that emotions came into play, I could get the charge reduced to probably second degree.
I want to die. Don't you get it? Let him fry me. I don't care. I botched it twice now. I could use a little help from the professionals.
The people have reason to believe that David Gordon is infected with the AIDS virus. Medical confirmation of this would further clarify for the court the motive of the defendant in the slaying of Kenneth Doyle. The people therefore move that the court issue a subpoena for any medical records pertaining to David Gordon that might shed light on this matter.
Your Honor, I strongly oppose the issuing of such a subpoena. Such records are privileged documents that can only be released with the permission of the patient. To grant such a subpoena would be a violation of my client's right to privacy under the California Constitution and his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. I would refer the court to the reasoning in Schmerber versus California.
There is abundant precedent in this area, Counselor. I agree with the court's analysis in Schmerber. I'm afraid the people are going to have to make their case without Mr. Gordon's medical records.
Your Honor, I have here a suicide note found in Mr. Gordon's jail cell.
Objection, Your Honor. This is the first I've heard of such a note. Mr. Watts' unfortunate habit of failure to comply with discovery procedures is at very least unfair to my client.
Your Honor, I was only informed of its existence by the investigating officer this morning. Give me a break, O'Neill.
But I start with your kneecaps.
Counselor, it appears this is the first any of us have heard of it.
Why didn't you tell me about the note?
I didn't think about it. It was just for my parents.
Well, now it's just for the whole world. It's been accepted as evidence in the prosecution's case. And in it, you acknowledge that you have AIDS.
What difference does it make?
Because now the DA can add revenge to the motive charge.
Revenge?
For Ken having given you the virus. Now they can say that's why you waited so patiently and then shot him in cold blood.
Good.
I beg your pardon?
All right. I was trying to get back at him because he gave me AIDS.
I'm sorry, David. I don't believe you. My investigator tells me you and Ken were together almost 5 years, 2 of which Ken was ill. You stayed with him and you took care of him until he was hospitalized for the last time. You even gave up your job to devote yourself to him. That's why you didn't have enough money for a private attorney. Why would you wait all that time and then get angry at him?
Maybe I just found out I got it. Maybe I was fed up taking care of him. Maybe I saw what was going to happen to me, and I finally let my anger out.
You're lying. You loved him.
How do you know that?
You said so in your suicide note. Now, the prosecution isn't going to play that part up, but I could. With a little help from you. A little elaboration, a little clarification.
So I loved him. Does that make me the first person to premeditatedly kill someone he loves?
Oh, great! I gotta be in court in 15 minutes, and nobody's gonna hear a word I have to say because they're all gonna be staring at my grease spot.
Don't you keep a spare suit here?
This is my spare suit.
Found the AIDS clinic where David Gordon and his lover were counseled.
And?
Well, in a nutshell, they told me to bug off.
What do you think?
What's your problem, huh?
Close enough.
Take your pants off, Pete.
What?
Take your pants off.
It's for a good cause.
Come on.
Okay. Hey, turn around. Take care of the pants, huh?
I'm not asking him to rat on anybody. I'm trying to help this guy, for cripe's sake. Don't they see that?
Hey. Maybe if they hear it from you as his lawyer, you know?
Excuse me, is it going to be much longer? I just need to put some more change in the meter if it is. Do you have any extra change? Okay. Actually, I think I have enough time left. Sorry, thank you. Excuse me.
You can't catch it that way.
Excuse me?
You can't catch it like the flu.
I know that. Thank you. I'm not worried.
You look worried. I'm not a prostitute, you know. I'm not a drug user either. And I've been married for 14 years. My husband just didn't take his marriage vows as seriously as I did.
I'm sorry.
Ms. O'Neill?
Good luck.
Thanks.
That woman in the waiting room.
Yes, the number of women with AIDS is growing. Yes, it can be spread by heterosexual activity. And yes, she's going to die.
Was her husband bisexual?
Absolutely not. A man does not have to have a homosexual experience in order to pick up the virus and bring it back to his wife. We used to talk about high-risk groups. Now we talk about high-risk behaviors.
Thank you. So there doesn't have to be any indication that this husband is ill in order to pass on the virus?
That's what's so insidious about this disease. Some people carry the HIV virus and don't know it. Many of them will develop AIDS. Others might not. I have people waiting, Miss O'Neill.
I'm sorry. I know that you've already spoken to my investigator, but I wanted to be sure that he made it clear how important it is to David Gordon's defense that I understand his medical background. I'm not asking to see any actual records or any AIDS test results. I'm the one who kept the DA from having them subpoenaed.
Then I don't understand what you want.
I want to help David. Unfortunately, he left a suicide note in his jail cell.
David tried to kill himself?
Yes. In the note to his parents, he refers to having AIDS. Now the prosecution can assert that the killing was an act of revenge against Ken for having given him the disease.
You want me to tell you who had it first?
Well, I was hoping that you could give me some impressions.
Our clients have got to be able to trust us completely, Ms. O'Neill. There's too much at stake. We're trying to keep people's lives intact. Keep them in their jobs. Keep them from being evicted from their homes. Keep their children in school. It's an endless battle for these people to maintain a bare minimum of control over their own lives. Why don't you just leave David alone? Let him do this the way he wants.
One last question. You referred to people carrying the HIV antibodies who don't have the disease themselves. Is it possible that they can pass that virus on to somebody else who gets the disease before the carrier does?
Yes. One person's immune system may not be as strong.
So is it possible that David could have given Ken the virus without knowing?
You said one last question.
Is it possible?
Yes, it's possible.
How'd it go?
The DA had a big piece of dried lettuce hanging off his tie, and he still won.
Lunch, folks?
Yep, I'm in.
What about you? You coming?
Yeah, in just a minute. Yeah, Patrick Ginty, please. He is? Would you ask him to call Rosie O'Neill? He knows the number. Thank you.
About another cup of coffee, Udell, on me.
Aren't you embarrassed, trying to buy your way into this man's estate?
Not a bit.
You know what your problem is? All of you. You've not faced your own mortality.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. I almost got wasted today at the stoplight, and I still want your money.
Groveling? And for what?
It's a good point. Does anyone know what the death benefits are?
Who cares? It's like the lottery. It's free money.
You laugh. But if you ever find yourself looking into the jaws of the great abyss.
Oh, come on, Udell. What do you know about the great abyss, you little fisher?
My blood was taken.
All of it?
Some of it. For an HIV test.
Why?
It's required now for life insurance. It's like having a cop follow you down the street. Look, I know I didn't do anything wrong, but I'm breaking into a sweat.
Isn't it sad? One of life's dearest pleasures to turn out to be so deadly.
You're going to be responsible for this kitten. It's the perfect beneficiary. You never have to be suspicious of its motives.
No room in my life.
Ben?
No, please, no, come on, Carole, please. Harriet's gonna kill me.
Oh.
Rosie?
No way.
I know I was gonna regret this in the morning.
All right. Here we go. There. There. Up, 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 up. Oh, yes, there. Now back. Breakfast. Oh, milk. Mmm. It's borderline. I don't recommend it. All right. Look, cereal. Can Kittens don't eat cereal. Okay, how about salmon? It's pretty expensive kitty food. Okay. Oh, look! Tuna! Yummy! We're gonna fix you right up. Good. Yes. Yes. Look at this. It's your bowl. We're gonna put your name on it. There we go. That's it. Good. Yummy tuna. Huh? Come on. What's the problem? This company swears they don't use gill nets. Come on. Psst, psst, psst. Am I doing this wrong? So good. Yes. Ooh, your tongue feels like sandpaper.
Oh, this is ill.
What are you doing here?
I'm ditching.
The hell you are. You're going to school. Kimberly, you are late. Go get the car. I'll be right out.
Erotomania.
I beg your pardon?
This happens with extremely lonely women. They sit in their houses with their cats and get more and more warped as time goes on.
It's a pet, for Christ's sake.
These women end up having these fantastic love affairs with men they've never even spoken to.
Don't be ridiculous.
I just don't want to see you give up.
Who's giving up?
I hope you've mentioned this to your shrink.
Talked to your father lately?
Forget him, Rosie.
Thanks for the advice.
No, I mean, really. I think you should finish unpacking your moving boxes and just get on with your life.
I'll take it under advisement. Have a great day at school.
Yeah, right.
Good morning, Patrick Getty's law office. May I help you? I'm sorry, sir. He's in court right now. May I take a message for you? Good morning, Patrick Getty's law office.
Mrs. Ginty. Helen. Oh, it's been too long.
It sure has. You've been doing some redecorating, I see.
We all miss you very much.
I'll bet. Well, I miss all of you, too. Except for Patrick, of course. I've been trying to ask him something important. The bastard will not return my phone.
Oh, Mrs. Ginty.
Oh, excuse me. I was looking for Mr. Ginty.
That's all right. He's in court this morning.
He's going through a new phase, huh? Black leather.
Turning out to be a very pretty office, don't you think? I don't know how well you know him, but when we started, he was a real fuddy-duddy. I think he's freer now. He's willing to take more risks.
Well, it's great to hear he's evolving.
It may be more efficient if Mrs. Harris took a note.
Oh, I don't think so. Oh, looks pretty efficient to me.
I don't mean to be critical. I'm just afraid the tape is going to eat its way through the lacquer.
Well, at least I'll be assured of him returning my call. Well, keep up the good work, Miss...
Bridget. Bridget Kane.
Rosie O'Neill.
Oh.
That's it? Oh.
I don't think this is appropriate without Patrick present.
Appropriate? Is there anything appropriate about you sleeping with a married man?
Look, I'm not the cause of your breakup. Obviously, there were already problems.
There was nothing obvious about it.
Maybe you simply refused to see the truth.
You speculate about me or my life. Or, God forbid, the so-called truth, you hypocrite.
I'm not a hypocrite. I never lied to anyone. And Patrick only lied to make it easier on you.
Easier?
Yes, easier, to make it seem more gradual so it wouldn't come as such a shock.
Well, then why did it come as such a shock?
As I said, maybe you simply refused to see the truth.
You just got an answer for everything, don't you? Well, then I have a question for you. Did my husband wear a condom when he went to bed with you?
How dare you?
Did he?
That's none of your business.
It became my business when you slept with my husband. We all got pretty intimate.
That's not true. Patrick stopped sleeping with you once we were together.
Come on, is that what he said to you? You didn't answer my question. Did he?
There's absolutely nothing wrong with me.
Did he?
Can I just have a couple of...
Mother!
I didn't get any. Just chew it. Fiona, why should work?
I'm ditching. Mother, could you order me some coffee, please?
Of course, sit down.
Maria told me you were here. I need to talk to you.
Mom and I were just...
Now! It's important. Mother, could you excuse us for just a minute? We're just gonna take a little walk.
Well, what about your coffee? Yeah, no, wait a minute. If you think you're going to use Doreen to talk me into some kind of anniversary thing for your father's death, just forget that.
I promise that we won't talk about Daddy. We'll be right back. I was practicing safe sex. I was monogamous.
What about Steve?
Do I look stupid to you?
Just asking.
Now I have to worry about whether Bridget did L.A.
Just L.A.? Why not throw in the rest of the continent? Maybe Europe, too. Who knows?
Are you defending her?
Patrick had something to do with it, too, Rosie.
What are you saying? You think there were others?
I don't know. I just think you'd feel better if you got your mind off it.
I don't want to get my mind off of it. She was in on the whole thing, the planning and the sneaking around and the lies. Can you imagine? They were talking about me. I can just see her now, trying to figure out how to get rid of the old hag. That interior decorator wannabe.
She was pretty, huh?
Very. And it really hurts that he didn't think of me at all in any of this.
It's only one thing to do.
Forget it. I'm not capable of murder.
Get an AIDS test.
Oh, Dory.
A minute ago, you had Bridget exposing you to half the world population.
Oh, and you're supposed to tell me that I'm being morbid and melodramatic.
You probably are.
And completely overreacting.
Probably.
Thank you.
There's only one way to know for sure. Should we go see Mom now?
You didn't know, did you? That you were infected? My investigator learned that you'd been turned down for life insurance in 1986. At that time, it was becoming a matter of course for insurance companies to ask for an HIV test.
What does my insurance application have to do with the case?
Well, according to your deposition, you got involved with Ken in May of '86. And the hospital records showed that he tested HIV positive 3 months later, several weeks after your insurance rejection. Sounds like he had his blood drawn right after you told him you'd been exposed. The way I see it, you thought you were healthy then. You weren't cruising, you weren't hanging around bathhouses, you hadn't been promiscuous for a very long time. You probably thought it couldn't happen to you. So you went to bed unprotected with someone you cared about, right?
I cared about him very much.
Then 3 years later, Ken gets AIDS. And here you are in jail because you tried to make things right.
Yes. Yes, I tried to make things right.
Lying isn't going to make them right, David.
What do you want me to do? You want me to stand up in court and say I killed Ken with a virus so they'll let me off for killing him with a gun? Where is the justice in that?
The virus was already killing him. In your eyes, the shooting was an act of compassion. Was it at his request? Were you going to kill yourself in that hospital room, too? Is that what you meant when you said you'd blown it twice about the suicide?
We agreed to end it together. And then the orderly came back in the room and grabbed me. I would have cut my wrist in that jail cell. Been done with it. But I didn't want to expose anybody to my blood. I didn't want to hurt anyone else. I don't want to go the way he did. I can't handle it. I'm all alone. I don't have anyone to take care of me.
What do you think about AIDS, Hank?
What the hell kind of question is that?
A stupid one. How's this? David Gordon gave the virus to his lover. He didn't mean to, but he did.
So what you're asking is what the jury thinks about AIDS.
That's right.
No way to know, Rosie. Take your best shot.
Did you get the test?
I haven't heard back from the doctor yet.
You know, it takes incredible logistical planning for me just to get away to have a drink with you. You could at least be sociable.
Sorry. I've had an unexpectedly rough day. The reason I called, I want to talk to you about Mom.
What about her?
All this denial about Daddy's death.
What denial? It's been 5 years, for God's sake.
Well, don't you think we ought to do something more than just toast him every year?
What else is there to do?
You sound like Mom.
Honey, I think this is about Patrick not being around this time. Suddenly you want to make more of it now.
Maybe we always should have made something more of it.
Speak for yourself. You were his favorite.
What does that mean?
Exactly what I said. You know it's true. Everybody does. So what? I've dealt with it. I have. I know he loved us both, but you were his favorite. Just admit it.
Well, you're Mom's favorite.
What's so bad about that?
Nothing. I guess. So where does that leave us?
Sisters. Sisters with a dead father and a well-meaning but meddlesome mother. Cheers.
A trial by jury is supposed to be a trial by your peers. But I must ask how many of you see yourself as David Gordon's peers? A homosexual who walked into a hospital with a loaded gun to end his lover's suffering and his own. Peers? No. We think our lives are very different from that of David Gordon's. We think that this could never happen to us. But the truth is, a deadly virus threatens all of us. And therefore, we are all David Gordon's peers. When you reach out in the night to hold that person that you love, you are David Gordon's peer. How would you feel if you found out that the expression of your love was a death sentence to the person you cared the most about? How would you feel to watch that person dying of brain lesions and a host of other nightmares? How would you feel if that person begged you to end his or her suffering? The AIDS virus is a frightening threat to all of us, and none of us in this room is immune. And in that, we are all peers. If we hold in common our vulnerability to this disease, we must also hold in common our compassion. And through that compassion, we must find justice for David Gordon. We must try and imagine what we might have done had we been in his shoes.
I heard. I'm sorry.
If it had been any other disease.
That's what appeals are for, Rosie.
Odds are he's never going to make it through an appeal.
Listen now. Why don't you knock off early for once?
Hello. I know. Me too.
It's Dr. Allen, Rosie. Just wanted you to know as soon as possible that test you took, everything's fine. Drop in any time for written results.
Tonight we break out the salmon. Eh, Schmerber? Mother? I'm coming by to pick you up. It's a surprise. I know how you feel about surprises. I'm on my way.
This is the surprise?
I just thought it'd be a nice place to talk about Daddy.
Every year I try to forget. But it's there, in my mind. Phone call. By the time I got the call, he was already dead.
How did you feel?
You may be used to spilling your guts out every week. That's not the way I go about it.
I know.
You want to know how I felt? I felt anger, just anger. At how hard he worked, how lousy he ate, how he drove himself to it, how I was left alone. God, why didn't he take care of himself? Why didn't he think about me?
I'm sure if he had it to do again, he would do it differently.
Well, I wish I could be so sure.
Want to go down to the water?
Well, don't be ridiculous. It's sandy.
Of course it's sandy. It's the beach.
It's the Pacific Ocean.
So it is.